right, the New York Times reports that the IRS is planning to give a team member of DOGE access to sensitive taxpayer data. The service is also facing layoffs of probationary workers right in the middle of tax season as DOGE continues to trim down, or at least attempt to trim down, the federal government. I want to bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, I just wonder what Americans are thinking as they're preparing to file their tax returns and they're hearing that those people who are responsible for collecting those returns and the data associated with them may be fired. I mean, are we potentially talking about I can just envision a world where people choose not to file their taxes because there's nobody there, and what that means ultimately for the U.S. economy.
Vlad, the IRS is one of those agencies we're watching to see if there are any cuts. CBS News learned last week that around Thursday that a DOGE staffer was at the IRS, and obviously you mentioned the reports this morning about wanting to gain access to what's known as the Integrated Data Retrieval System, the IDRS, which essentially houses a lot of personal taxpayer information. In reaction to the news, you've seen watchdog groups voice a lot of concerns with whether their personal data, the personal data of taxpayers, people filing their returns, could potentially get out there in some way, just given the kind of lack of guardrails potentially for a DOGE staffer. The White House has told outlets that this DOGE staffer was acting, quote, legally and with the appropriate security clearances. One official also posted, quote, the hysteria surrounding DOGE's access to data is akin to a patient crying foul when a doctor asks for their medical history. So they're downplaying this, but certainly watchdog groups are voicing a lot of concerns about the potential access that they could get to the IRS.
And what could be next in the line of sight for DOGE?
We're obviously watching the IRS, and it's important to note a lot of health agencies saw steep cuts for what are known as probationary employees. These are federal government workers that came in maybe within the last year or so. We saw steep cuts at CMS, NIH, CDC, quote, disease detectives were cut as well as some at the HHS. A White House spokesperson said that scientists at CDC and FDA were not part of the cuts, and we'll be watching the Department of Education as well. We started to see some of those cuts last week, and we've heard President Trump talk about how he wants to shut down that agency. That seems to be next in terms of the steeper cuts this upcoming week.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much.